Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about cars and trucks and motorcycles and dogs and the state of the times. And good morning there, if everybody's watching my channel. Appreciate you tuning in this morning to hear the conversations of the day and get some ideas, get motivated, get excited. Yeah, right. So hey, what is the theme today? Tell you what, that tree is hollow. Where do you think that tree's gonna fall on one day? Is that tree gonna go left or right? Wow. Yeah. I should take it down. Just another freaking project of my project. Hey, I thought I opened the barn and I didn't. Wow, I'm so out of sync this morning. Wow, yikes. So there's the lightning truck. I've had my fun in that this past week. Come on, pups. Come on, let's go. Come on, get in. Come on, let's go. Come on, get in. Come on, let's go. So, just changed all my gear out of that truck. That truck has 16,000 miles on it. I just really don't want to run that thing in the ground because I want the escape plan on that vehicle. But you know, $60 barrel of oil, there ain't no escape plan on that vehicle right there. Because we got the ICE vehicles here. What's the most dominant thing on my property? ICE or electric? We know it's all the ICE vehicles, including the Power Boost. That I traded all my gear out into this truck because I just love the Power Boost. Yeah, the Power Boost is the better truck. Anybody out there really looking for the real deal? You need to buy yourself the Ford F-150 Power Boost, which I think is F-250 in disguise, if you know what I mean by that. If you watch my tow videos. And come on, puppies! I mean, it's just a better package. Because you can do so much more with this truck than you can with that F-150 Lightning. And it's just more fun, because it's got an engine in front of it. Hey, Willow! Let's go, boy! We gotta go! Come on, boy! So, anyways, yeah, so I thought today would be Ice Day. Here is an idea. Let's make today the official, nope, get away from there, Ice Day. The ICE Day, yeah, the internal combustion engine day. Let's do what those Dutch farmers did in Netherlands, and let's start protesting the EV age. Hey, what about, think about that. Why not these green agenda people and these politicians and these wimpy-ass CEOs of these automotive companies that we're not going to accept this EV agenda. We're going to put a halt to it. How about that idea? ICE Day. And in the ICE Day movement, every dedicated ICE owner gets lined up in their car clubs and their meets, and everybody meets and drives to their local city and make a statement that we don't want this malarkey of the EV age agenda. Elon Musk does. It's so interesting, all these different personalities that are around us, that they have the good and the bad, just like Elon Musk. I mean, the guy's had good intentions, but at the same time, the guy's made his fortune off of the green agenda. It's beyond believable. And I don't know why that guy, I have no idea that guy bought Twitter. All Twitter is, I mean, it's depressing. Go to Twitter, you just get depressed. It's just violence. It's just all the news that you can see on every freaking network of CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. What I don't even watch these networks. I mean, I watch the business news in the morning to see the markets and to hear general business talk. But, all Twitter is just a mass, lumped into a big hole of just tons of crap. Yeah, it's a dumping hole. Twitter's a dumping hole. I mean, it really is. Because it's just people spewing off crap all the time. I mean, to me, it's like, and then all you see is the violence. In the videos, you see a short clip of people fighting among themselves. You don't know the real story of what's really going on, but the perception is, it's the hate of the hate. I mean, Scott Adams, I guess, of Dilbert, he fell for it. I mean, his perception is that everybody's targeting white people now to beat the crap out of them. I don't know. I mean, normally I see a ton of black people beating the crap out of a ton of black people. Who the hell knows? But the whole point is, it's all about ICE. And that's what I want to do. Keep the channel, the initial conversations here is about ICE. And I just got to think to myself this morning, after reading about how the Dutch Parliament now has a challenge. They have a lot of farmers on their parliament of a 20% say, because the Dutch farmers don't like this whack job green agenda bull crap that's going on by leaps and bounds in the world, and wants to take away their farms and tell them how to, just go pound sand, and it's, tough luck. I mean, it's just not acceptable. So I thought that was, wow. I was like, that's a statement. That's a powerful thing. Why don't we as individuals here in this country have all these car meets, the Cars and Coffee, why don't people start talking among themselves about the ICE day? Yeah, the internal combustion engine day. Wow, it's kind of warmed up here. Got my heater here, but I mean just a little too close over here. So, why don't all these car clubs and car members and car forums start talking about, we have a national ICE day where everybody gets together and we meet up and we drive to your local city or town or whatever it may be, and make a statement that the majority of the people in this country do not want the electric vehicle revolution. And I was going to make a video the other day that said, ask. I was like, ask. I mean, that seems to be the most difficult part of the human nature, that we don't want to ask things because we don't want to know what the answer may be, which may be no. I mean, look at me. Do I want to go ask my wife if I go buy another car? Yeah. I mean, that answer is going to be no. So my life with her, she'll tell you straight up, is, yeah, he just shows up with our damn car. Yeah, because if I ask first, I'm not going to get the response I want. Isn't that kind of how humans operate? Isn't that how this whole freaking government body is operating right now? The whole car industry is operating right now? I mean, sincerely, has the automotive industry taken a poll and asked the people if they really want these electric vehicles? Has anybody seen a poll on that? Has anybody seen the CEO of Volkswagen, CEO of Stellantis, the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, the comedian, Mary Barra, whatever her name is? Have they actually gone out and said, hey, for our loyal customer base that has been so loyal to us buying our brand, thank you so much. Would you like to see electric vehicles be the most dominant thing, the only thing of your choice, and all the ICE vehicles go away? Yes or no? I guarantee you that poll would show that 80 or 90% of the people would say, no, we do not want these electric vehicles to be the dominant product of your manufacturing. We still want the ICE vehicle. Or, hey, here's a great idea. Why don't you make it a hybrid vehicle? Wow. Hey, there you go. Oh, no, because you got Greta Thunberg, sitting behind the CEO with a hammer to pound on the guy's head, go, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, that's where we are. That the minority's running around and just doing devious things to others to force them to abide by their ways. And yeah, I've talked about it many times. The green agenda, the movement, the amount of billions of dollars they have tied up. Yeah, I wonder if it has anything to do with Silicon Valley Bank. Signature Bank, now Republic Bank, Bank of Republic or whatever in San Francisco. Oh my gosh, it doesn't stop. Does anybody here understand that all you hear anymore on a daily basis is bad news? For all the people that elected Joe Biden, can we send you the bill? I mean, sincerely, I think we ought to be in a point in society, if you support an agenda and you support people that do things that really do financial harm to others, then you pay for the mistakes that you made for voting people in. Just like in San Francisco, same freaking thing. San Francisco, they're getting ready to pass a $5 million reparations bill for the black community that can prove they're from a slave owner. And yeah, here's what people are saying out in the general media is, hey, all you people elected all these officials, these whack jobs in San Francisco, you guys elected them, you pay the bill. I didn't vote for these policies. I don't have nothing to do with it. You go have your little, party with all your special interest groups and things that you think that are going to be really cool and great, but you guys pay the bill. I don't pay the bill. Hey, everybody, pay for my activities. Hey, come on, man, come on. I got all these cars and everything. You got to support my my way of thinking and how I do things. So you're just gonna send me checks and mail me money so I can just have all my cars at your expense, not my expense. And that's what these politicians do. They pass bills. That's not on their dime for the most part. It's only going to make them look like they're the bigger, badder politician to get them to another level of whatever, whack job policy. Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, so Ice Day. We got to have Ice Day because the Ice Age people need to wake up and start telling people by the masses, we're not going to go for this EV revolution that's going on. It's a ridiculous movement. I have the vehicles. And what's the driving force of a person buying an electric vehicle? Guarantee you it'll be, I save gasoline. I save on the price of gas. I save money on gasoline. That's going to be I guarantee if you ever take a poll, why did you buy an electric vehicle? Why did you buy an electric vehicle? To save the world? To have cool new technology, even though for the most part, my Ford F-150 Power Boost has everything that Ford Lightning has on the technology of Blue Cruise and the safety features, and the list goes on and on and on. I like the retractable boards on my Power Boost. When I walk up to the truck, they automatically come out to me to tell me to get in the truck. Lightning doesn't have that. You know why it doesn't have that? Because it's power. It's taking away power for the vehicle. We've been driving around that truck this week. It's been cold. You freeze your ass off that truck. I'm not lying. You freeze. I've been doing 200-mile days in that truck, and if you crank up the heat in that truck and the heated seat, the heated steering wheel, you're freezing. You're freezing in that truck. You have to put that truck at very high temperatures for you to be able to get warm in that truck. And then you lose so much energy and so much distance on a vehicle. And it's such a psychological thing of how the electric vehicle over the gas vehicle. On the gas vehicle, it shows you 584 miles to empty. And then you look at, that's what my Ford Power Boost, when the truck is full of gas, it basically has a 600-mile range. 600-mile range. I can basically go to Florida and only fuel up once. Yeah, did you hear that? I can go to Florida and only fill up once to go to Florida. Now, the electric vehicle, it's a 2-day trip. But the range thing, it shows range. And you just watch the range thing in front of you deplete itself. But it's not an accurate range thing because of the environment that you're in. It's that the gasoline car, it's a consistent, more accurate number of comfort, because if you're getting 18 miles a gallon or 20 miles a gallon, it kind of stays within that realm if you're just driving down the road, not pulling a big trailer. And so if it says you have 584 miles to empty, you're going to probably go 500 miles before you have to get gasoline. Electric vehicle doesn't work that way. When I leave the shop here in the morning, it shows 330 miles to range. And I'll drive 10 miles in the cold weather, and I'm not embellishing. That goes to like 289 miles. And then I drive another 10 miles, and I'm down to like 260. So the battery drain, it's not an accurate way of getting around because of the variables of it being cold outside and me trying to keep the truck somewhat warm. Now, one thing that Ford is doing, which I would agree is a good idea, is on their vans, like their service vans, delivery vans, they're talking about making the surfaces warm. So instead of you having blowing air down on the floorboards, make the floorboards heated. Make it, instead of like a heated steering wheel, you have a heated floorboard. You have the heated seat. Make surface. They're talking about surface temperatures of creating that to maybe help energize, or I should say help manage the battery life and energy. So so here it is. I'm a guy that owns electric vehicles. This is why I wanted to. So many people called me out thinking I'm this greeny guy buying electric vehicles. It's like, no, I want to find out the reality of these vehicles. I want to know the truth, and that's why I have a channel of sharing my compassion and my fun, excitement, all the cars I have, because I try to come back in a sincere way without an agenda that is telling you the way it is. And the way it is, yesterday, my truck is parked in my garage. And yeah, I mean, I could relocate my power, which that's money to pull more cable to put power somewhere else to have that truck parked. But right now, the way it's set up, the truck blocks my garage. So when I come back in, this is no embellishment. I usually get back in like 4:30, 4:30. And I like the truck to kind of cool down a little bit. I just feel like having that hot battery is just another reason for something to go wrong. So I usually don't plug the truck in till like at least an hour later. And no lie, that truck, if I've done a 200-mile day, that truck is 16 hours of charging to get, to the full charge. So that truck is parked in my garage. We'll just use the number 5 o'clock in the afternoon, okay, until 9 o'clock in the morning before it's really even fully charged. And some be like, well, don't, maybe you can just only charge. Oh, no way. I run a company. I own a business. The phone rings. My phone rings. I'm a one-man show now. I'm driving all over the world. So today could be a 100-mile day, or today could be a 250-mile day. So there's no way. And then, sure, you can pull off and charge somewhere and pay, 50 cents a kilowatt. Yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. Or you get the plan and whatever, and then you sit there for 20, 30 minutes or 40 minutes of your day trying to get it charged. The whole point is that, the electric vehicle, charging an electric vehicle is a challenge. It's a constant challenge. And the range it's not like your gasoline car, as I just explained. It's a whole different way of how you drive that vehicle, of how far you're going to get. So it's a little more nerve-wracking to a degree in some aspects of that. And it's not a warm truck in the cold. It's you freeze your ass off that truck. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing short distances, yeah, crank up the freaking heat, crank up the seats. But why'd you buy an electric vehicle if you're driving 5 or 10 miles? I mean, what's that all about? I mean, the gentleman that I videoed his BMW at LA10, that was like $100 and some odd thousand BMW, first of the latest, greatest electric vehicles. This Asian gentleman that owned that car, he bought it for his wife. His wife drives their kid to school back and forth. That car probably goes 5 miles a day. He doesn't have a battery charging station per se. He just plugs it into a 120-volt outlet, but he doesn't care because his wife only goes maybe 10 miles a day, if even that. You ever factored how much money you're spending in transportation? You just bought a $150,000 car, right? $150,000 car. Let's just say you go 10 miles a day times 365 miles. Let's just say that car does 5,000 miles a year, right? 5,000 miles a year. You took a $150,000 car divided by 5,000. What's that equal, right? I mean, so you're talking $30. It's more than that. It's like $30 per mile that you drive that vehicle. If you just factor, it's more in depth than that. Yeah. So, anyways, the ICE Day. How do more of us start making a statement to the political and the automotive industry that we're not wanting this electric vehicle revolution? We don't want it. I mean, sincerely, is anybody just dying for stuff to show up in the droves? I mean, does anybody understand? I mean, it just, to me, it's the confusion beyond confusion of modern times of what us individuals are so exposed to more than ever, and trying to comprehend what makes sense and doesn't make sense. And here's the anniversary yesterday of the COVID lockdown for 15 days. Does anybody remember that? 3 years ago, on March 16th, Fauci and Birx, they actually were laughing. They were laughing behind Donald Trump about shutting down the country for 15 days. That we're going to slow things down, and Trump got caught up into it. I tell you what, for all these Trump people, you really need to step back and understand Donald Trump. You guys are addicted to this guy. This guy is not perfect, and it's incredible how. And don't get me wrong, yeah, I'll take Donald Trump over Joe Biden every day, all day. But what I'm trying to explain as well is the guy got run out of the office. And for a lot of things that he played along with and he pushed, you do have to scratch your head. That's what so now Ron DeSantis is playing the card against Trump on how in Florida they weren't as radical as everybody else on their governing policies and trying to handle this COVID outbreak compared to other states. And Ron DeSantis is calling out Donald Trump, sitting there supporting Fauci and Birx. And then here's Donald Trump doing. Does anybody really think this through? Donald Trump did the fast track vaccine. Okay. Are you hearing that these vaccines are being burned by the millions, if not billions, of vaccines are being just thrown away because people don't want this stuff. Are you hearing this? Okay, well, Donald Trump started the fast track vaccine. He bragged about it. He bragged about how he was going to bring this vaccine to stop this virus overnight to keep him employed as the president of the United States. And he was a guy that it was, and he and to this date, I guarantee this guy would be telling you go get the vaccine. I mean, yeah, I mean, he'd be telling you vaccine. Would he have been the guy to maybe even force that if you're a federal employee, you have to get the vaccine or you'll be terminated? Yeah, I mean, does anybody remember these? I mean, so for Donald Trump, he played right along with this guy Fauci, who we know this guy's just, yeah, right, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or he's just Dr. Jekyll. I mean, this guy. So, and then, I mean, wow. I mean, there's so much information now of so many things going on around us. How do you even really stay on the content of you as an individual, even trying to process all this information, to even say to yourself, wow, is this really happening? The banks are going bust right now, but yet this lady, Janet Yellen, is yelling. She should be yelling. You know, she's sitting there just making everything sound like everything's beautiful, man. Everything's beautiful. Yeah, J.P. Morgan, all these other banks just had to put $35 billion into the Bank of Republic Bank, whatever it is in San Francisco. All these banks in California. What's that all about, right? What's all these banks in California? What's all the money? Is this just like Dirty Monday? I know it's all the bonds. I get all that, but this money was used in a lot of other places. Yeah. So you look at the banking infrastructure. Wow. Look at the oil industry. I said last summer, I preached you'd have $60 barrel oil. It would eventually be $60 barrel oil. Hey, guess what? We right now have $68 barrel oil. Wow. Amazing. And guess what? The run as fast as you can to go buy an electric car, is that changing? Well, from what I understand, the value of my cars, it's changed. I'm being told that it's not really that high to item. I mean, I'm not lying to you. I've called a few different dealers about my cars. They're like, nah, you know, it's not, it's just like buying a car in good old days. You buy it for 75 and be lucky to get 60 for it. You know, that's just kind of where it is. That's the market of cars. I know, I get all that. But what happened to the crazy, EV age, of everybody, running out? Well, because the gas prices aren't $5-6 a gallon anymore. And it's interesting, if you look at the history of electric vehicles came around during the war back in, I guess, the late 30s, I guess you could say. And there was gas rationing, so electric vehicles kind of got a little bit of a movement back in that time. They barely could go anywhere. They were for the elitists, the rich of the rich. The only people who could afford these ugly-ass things that they brought to the market. And, but you think to yourself, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Which came first, the ICE or the EV, right? I mean, so for us ICE people, we have the right to demand what we want, and EVH doesn't have the right. The EVH doesn't have the credentials. It doesn't have the reality of what so many were preaching of what it's going to accomplish, to actually have the credentials to be able to say that they can enforce that the ICE age is done. But yet we're letting that happen. Does that make any sense? I mean, would you honestly look to a leader or look to a person for advice that never actually experienced or could show data or proof of what they really think is the right direction, the right way to go? It's more on speculation. It's more on this and that. And, oh, wait a second. These are people who put money into the Silicon Valley Bank. Wait a second. These are people who put money into the bonds. Wait a second. These are people, list goes on and on and on. Here's the point, is we're living in an EV age of people that are telling the ICE age people to go pound sand and, screw you, suck it up buttercup, because this is the way it's going to be. But they don't even have the credentials to prove it. Could you imagine some guy going to Tom Brady and telling Tom Brady, I'm going to show you how to be a better quarterback? And Tom Brady's, okay, great. That's fantastic. What's your credentials? Well, I don't have any. Okay. Well, well, I just have some ideas, Tom. Tom, I watch your videos and I run statistics, and I think that if you ran back just a tenth of a second faster and you had that your hand move that way instead of that way, and you're holding the football, with your finger that way versus your finger that way. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, are you kidding me? Tom Brady, look at this guy, like, get the hell out of here. Well, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with politicians and even the CEO of these manufacturers that they're trying to make it like they have the credentials of EV vehicles is going to be such a better plan for the world over the ICE. When the ICE vehicles are getting so more efficient and so more capable of not spewing as much carbon dioxide and having a hybrid gas setup. I'm all for the hybrid gas. That's what I think. And here's what's interesting, that when I drive that Ford Lightning F-150 truck, it is so weird. It is such a lost soul when you nail it. And it's extremely quick. I mean, it really is. It'll smoke most cars. It is. But it's a feeling. Have you ever been when you were a kid in school and some kid out of nowhere came up behind you and just like pushed you and you just had this like inertia feel? Okay. That's kind of how like that Lightning is. It's just a really weird, like you've been pushed. Versus when I get in like my gas cars, my ICE cars, the feeling more is you're feeling like you're being pulled. It's like, it's like, Bob! And it's just two different types of inertia. And even for me, I think to myself, does that really make sense? But I'm just explaining, for me, the Lightning truck, the Mach-E truck, the electric cars, it has more of that push type of feel versus you're being pulled. The tractor's pulling you down the road versus you're pushing down the road. And, so that's just maybe some way to radiate people that haven't been in electric cars and electric vehicles. And for me, that's what I love about my passion for my cars and trucks and motorcycles. And people look at me like, you have all these different cars and trucks and motorcycles. Yes, it's because I want to experience how each one is different. Each one has its own personality. And that's the reason I love to have so many different types of cars and trucks, is because I can truly drive them and I can go drive something else, and it's a whole different ride. I mean, it's a whole different drive. To drive the F-250 Tremor truck from an F-150 Tremor truck, it's night and day. To drive the F-450 dually from my F-350 single rear axle Godzilla, just two different animals. To drive the Dodge wide body Scat Pack, to drive my Dodge wide body Hellcat, it's two different animals. And so for me, that's what I love about having different cars, is because I really get to enjoy the different aspects of how they are. How they really are just so different and unique to their own. But I will say this, in the electric vehicles, like the Ford Lightning truck, it has such a personality in so many aspects of that Ford Mustang Mach-E, meaning that being pushed feeling as you go down the road. And the Mustang Mach-E, I mean, no lie, that thing is so connected to the road. I mean, that car is like glued to the road. I mean, that car is an incredible vehicle. And that's the thing that's so disappointing of where we are in today's world of agendas and the brainwashing, is we can have these vehicles, but I don't think it should be all the vehicles. So for me as an individual, it needs to be more of, hey, you have your choice. And why these automotive manufacturers are just getting caught up in the moment that everybody has to have an electric vehicle and everything has to be electric, and all these politicians and these individuals sitting in their chair that don't drive these cars or experience the real world environment of what's going on. They want to make these demands and this criteria that forces the manufacturers to play by their rules, abide by their rules. And boy, oh boy, is anybody really figured out that right now the leaders in our country and even in business, I mean, I don't think they're doing us any favors. I really think that so many aspects, they're making everything so much more expensive for the average person. and they just don't seem to want to stand up for themselves and talk reality to all these new laws and guidelines. And here, like the government wants to do bigger background checks on people that want to buy guns and all. Yeah, okay, I mean, for me as an individual, whatever. But why aren't they talking more about doing the background checks of all these people that are dealing drugs? I mean, why is it such a hidden secret in our society? If so many people that have these side gigs of delivering drugs to their friends, it's a whole social network. I mean, the fentanyl crisis is through the roof. Where's the conversation of hiring people to go out and start tracking down all this illegal drug activity in this country that's doing far more harm than people buying guns? I mean, can anybody share statistics that gun owners are killing 120,000 people a year? I mean, sincerely, the border crossing. I mean, where is that? Oh, that's no agenda. That's not going to get me a base of people that want to shovel me money to get me elected on talking about that, because the media machine is played to all the gun violence, and the media machine won't show you pictures of 300 people this morning are dead. Where the media starts showing pictures of these young kids that you walk in with your camera and the kid in the bed is lifeless and he's dead. Why don't they start showing that every day? Instead they show the kids, they show the violence in the streets, somebody shooting somebody. But the drug addictions and the drug deaths are way far beyond. I mean, did 300 people last night die from gunshots? I don't know. I mean, I know on the good weekend in Chicago, I think it'll be a good 10, 20 head count that kill each other. You don't even see that anymore. Do you see that anymore? You ever notice how the general media doesn't want to talk about all the mistakes they've made and told everybody? Do you ever notice that? Does the media machine want to talk about how they preach day and night everybody's going to die from the COVID and the virus and how they were wrong? I mean, do they want to backtrack on when the BLM wanted to go protest in the cities that it was okay, they wouldn't get COVID, and it justified them doing that? Even Fauci supported that. But when somebody wanted to go to a football game or a wedding or a funeral, or somebody wanted to, just have a gathering at a church or whatever, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that because you're going to die. You're going to spread the disease, and you yourself are a disgrace to society that you have exposed other people to viruses because of your lackadaisical way of thinking. But if you and I want to go join BLM tonight and go down and protest in the streets and start, doing whatever we got to do, and whether the thousands of us show up or hundreds or whatever it may be, that's not a big deal. I mean, does anybody remember all the racist ways of managing the COVID, on how states shut down so many businesses? Man almighty. I mean, people just, I think, have forgotten about it. But these are the same governing politicians and bodies that are still in power. They're wanting to bring more policies and more rules to have you abide by, that their previous record was a losing record. It was totally wrong. Wow. ICE Day. Wonder, how do we start the movement of ICE Day? We need to start the movement. We need to pass this information on. Start telling your friends, hey, let's have an ICE Day. Let's have all the internal combustion engine people get together, and let's start telling the politicians and the automotive industry, we don't want the EV age. We don't want it. It's not acceptable. We don't want it. Build this stuff. The masses aren't going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. For the record, governing bodies, our tax dollars are not going to continue to subsidize this movement. We're not going to accept that. You find the people who want to subsidize it, let them pay the bill. If you want to be the EV greenie agenda guy, then fine. I'm out. All my ICE people are out. You guys write the personal checks out of your personal accounts to get the movement for this to go forward. And for the record, everybody's being sent home to work from home. Why do you need a car? You can just order everything on Amazon. The guy in an electric van will show up, deliver your product. I mean, is anybody paying attention to all this real estate market, all these commercial buildings? They're all going broke. Yeah. Do you even know that story? I'm sure some do. But all these big mega office buildings that are empty. the landlords are stopping paying their mortgages on them because they want to get them to reassess and revalue the properties and restructure loan deals. Oh yeah, that's going on big time, whether you realize it or not. The commercial property industry's in havoc. It's just like I showed you pictures of me driving down the metro here in this area. It's done. It doesn't make any money. Bay Area Rapid Transit, which when I was a kid, my dad used to ride to go to work. That thing's in dire straits right now in California. But they want to build even a bigger rail system for people to ride. That people won't even ride the BART system. I mean, it'd be unbelievable. When do people start? I think if people started having invoices sent to their house for you to have to pay for all these agendas, I can guarantee you the return mail would be overwhelming to the post office. So people would be like, hey, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for it. But since it's a tax base that you just can't, you just give your taxes, that's you have to do. And then for the most part, you can't control the tax money goes. Yeah, you can. You vote these people out. They're doing this crazy stuff. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching my Ice Age TV, and let's start the plan for Ice Day. Let me hear your comments on that. I'd love to hear that idea. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned.